Good afternoon, respected speaker sir, respected judges, respected persons present in the house. Myself Krishnav. I am here from Pandit Dindal Upadhyay Adarsh Mahavidyalaya, Bihali. First of all, I will say that India has a history of rich and diverse heritage of knowledge. No one denies that fact, and I do acknowledge that fact. But the real question at today's relevant time of modern age education is, are those implication or inclusions of those old age knowledge system in today's modern age education system would help to shape the better future of this country? And here I will say no. Albert Einstein said, education is not just the learning of facts, but it is also the training of human mind. But with the implication and inclusions of those old age traditional system in our education system, in the modern age education system, we may hinder the collective progress of scientific development, objectivity, global competitiveness, and critical thinking among the students of this country. And why I say so? My first argument is lack of scientific validations in the old age or the ancient Indian knowledge system. Most of the Ayurveda and Vedic knowledge doesn't have very scientific proofs, and that is evidently so. So if we try to implicate those learnings as scientific proofs or scientific learning without any evidence, it will create a scenario of pseudoscience in our society. Next, one of my fellow speakers, respected speakers from the government side, has said that there are many institutions abroad India where Sanskrit is being taught as a language or department of Sanskrit exists. But there are also department of Japanese or Spanish in India too. So it is not relevant to say that other countries are accepting the Sanskrit language. They are exploring it, not accepting it. So what does Sanskrit language have relevance in today's modern society? Second, they have said that one of the fellow speakers from the government side said that the British changed the education system in India just to give appointments or take persons to appoint in East India Company. But if we see in today's scenario, most of the world's biggest companies around the world like Google, YouTube, have Indian origin CEOs. They have not qualified from abroad university. They have qualified from India's prestigious university that like IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi. You can give a great example of Sundar Pichai, who has been qualified from India. Now I will say that what is the relevance in today's age? Today is the age of artificial intelligence, robotics. Today is the age of data science. So if we stuck to the oldest tradition, we may force the students of today's generation to focus more on those old traditions and lose the time to focus on today's relevant topics of future-based skills. Now, education is really optimistic, and education should be really optimistic and realistic about its approach. If you want to include yoga in our curriculum in Indian education system, if you want to include yoga, you should also include every Olympic sports in India. What is the situation of sports in India? You should look upon it. The last Winter Olympics, being the most populated country in this world, India has only sent 2 athletes to Winter Olympics. It is very really shameful about it. And education system, sir, Mr. Speaker, education system has really impact on these topics like sports too. Because in China we see sports is being taught, or sports is like a subject from the beginning of classes. Students from very beginning get to choose between different sports. But today in India, apart from cricket, no other sports has bigger relevant or support or financial support or moral support from our population. Now, you are saying about developing characters from Gurukuls. Now, the thing is that today's topic, inclusion of Indian knowledge system. It is inclusion of Indian knowledge system, but most of the fellow speakers of the government side has called about Gurukuls or how they are taught. That is about old age Indian education system, education structure, not the knowledge system. The knowledge systems are Ayurveda or yoga or Indian philosophy, not how Gurukuls, how education is taught in Gurukuls. And now you can say about Gurukuls. But I want to say that for thousands of years, Dalits and Achuts are deprived from education in those same Gurukuls. Only Brahmins, Kshatriya and Vaishya were allowed to study in those education. So what is the equality of those Gurukuls? Was there equality in the true sense? Indian history is rich because of its cultural diversity, but not because of its unity and integrity among the people. Because if you look to the pages of history of India, before there was only one religion, when Hinduism was existent, there was still division between people which we call Brahmins, we call Kshatriya, we call Vaishya, we call Shudra. After their the existence of more than one religion came to light, the religious conflict began to start. So these are the problems we are facing because of our own Indian philosophy. Now, if you are saying that we should implement Indian philosophy, spiritual learnings to our education system, so what is this irony? You are removing periodic classification from NCERT textbook of class 9 and 10, but you want to implement Indian philosophy, you want to implement spiritual learnings, you want to implement Sanskrit as a language in Indian education system, but you have removed 2002 Gujarat riots from class 12 textbook, you have removed corruption of judiciary in India from class 11 textbook, you have removed the ban of RSS after the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi from the class 12 textbook. This is what is happening in India. In a simple terms, we call this the secularization of Indian education system. It could be quite controversial, but it is true. It is being secularization is happening. Education should be neutral, socialist, and secular. Not not polar. Education should not be taught in our education system. Lastly, I will say that by a saying of Jawaharlal Nehru that truth could only be found through science and the ones who make friends with science. So today is the age of AI, today is the age of advancing robotics, today is the age of advancing data science. So we should look focused on it. If I am going to run in a straight line, in a race with 5 other persons who are running parallelly with me, so I have to look forward to the destination I have.